Hi friends, I am stepping out of my comfort zone. I do not like video and this is something that's definitely not comfortable for me to do, but if you are not into teens ministry at all and mentorship, and this is not something teens discipleship and mentorship ministry is not anywhere near what you do and you're not interested in it, just scroll on by. The less people watch, the more I'm going to be comfortable. But the reason I am doing this though is because so many of you reached out with questions, and there's so much to explain. The way that we do it is that I'm not able to write it in messages. It's just a lot. So what I want to do is just record this video so I have it for the future. And if anyone has future questions, I would be able to send that to them without having to message everybody back. So I know that I have tagged some of the people that asked, and I just want to go through some of the stuff just to kind of explain what we do. And obviously we started based on just us, research, some experience here and there, but we don't have an actual packet that we ordered somewhere that I could just give to you and you'll be all set. This is all things that we've compiled, and it keeps growing. So things that maybe we did before that don't work, we took those away. Things that now we think will work better, we added those in. So this is just basically where we're at right now. And I'm doing this because I truly, truly, truly believe mentorship needs to be in every single church. I personally believe that we need to have discipleship and mentorship on all levels, not just teenagers, but it's a good place to start, teenagers, because I know that for myself, the reason that I'm so strong in the Lord now is that one of the reasons is that I had really great mentors that walked me through my teen years, that those years where you're a little confused about what's happening in life with yourself, with the people around you, with the family, things that are changing in your body and things like that. They can have an effect on you spiritually, and so it's a great time in your life to have a mentor in your life. And so this is why I strongly believe that we need to implement these in our churches. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't have a lot of time, and I really wanted to avoid doing this, but I prayed to the Lord. If he gave me the opportunity, then I will do it. And both of my toddler boys, fell asleep peacefully together, so I couldn't get away from it. So here we are. Basically, the program is we do teenagers with older youth or young men and women who are already married, but they're not in the youth anymore, but they're not so much older that they wouldn't be able to connect with the teenagers. And what we did is we compiled a list of people that we thought were a great example. They were involved in ministry. They, maybe they were in college, or they're doing something with their life, basically, so they could be a good example for the teenagers. We compiled that list, we prayed about it, and then we reached out to them and we asked them to pray about it. And if they said yes, we added them as a candidate for mentors. Then our teenagers, we have from 12 to 15 years old. They start the teens program in general, and all of them have to go through it. It's mandatory. It's not a selective program for them. And what we did was once we had the okays from the mentors, we prayed and asked God to help us to connect them together properly, so that their characters would go together, so that a strength of a mentor would connect with the weakness of a mentoree. And so we ended up doing that and putting the pairs together, and we did a little party and made the announcements, and then we signed these mentoring covenants. I'm going to show you a lot of forms that we filled out, and I will end up just if you're interested in them, whatever you are, I can email them to you afterwards. That's not a problem. But I wrote, so we filled out these mentoring covenants, and basically they sat down together, each pair, and they wrote down the purpose of their meetings, when they will meet, and basically so they're accountable one before another. And they signed it, they dated it, and I took it back, and we keep it in our files for them to look throughout our meetings. And then we gave out these little packets, Teen Discipleship Program of our church, and I put together these forms where it's like, what is mentorship? It explains, and of course, none of this is copyrighted by me, because these are all the things I found from great resources online, Lifeway, many different places that have information like this. I put it together. So this is not my content. This is mostly things that I've put together from other places. And basically there's biblical examples. What is mentoring? Why it's needed in our churches? How is it good for the teenagers? How is it good for the mentor? Because I know so far we've been receiving feedback that the mentors have been equipped greatly by this, by just learning from the whole process and learning from the mentoree themselves. So that's something that we gave out. And then the qualities of a mentor. So we asked that, we're still human, so we need to constantly watch ourselves as mentors, that we don't live by the flesh, but live by the Spirit, because there's someone that's looking up all the time, looking to us for an example. So, and then the task of a mentor. And the reason this is so formal, you might be wondering why it's so formal when it's not like an actual school or whatever, is because to me, I believe that the more formal it is paper-wise, I don't mean ritual-wise, paper-wise, the more serious people take it. That's the experience that I have, especially in ministry, because a lot of times in ministry, we tend to, if it's something that's like organized but not that official, then we just take it like, oh, it's just another thing. So the reason I do it so official or formal is that everyone would know on both sides how serious it is, because at the end of the day, this is before the Lord, and if we're just going to waste our time by putting a name to something that we don't take seriously, then it's just a waste of everybody's time. So that aside, that's what we gave to the mentors. We met with the mentors, we met with the mentorees separately, talk that way. I also handed out these questions, a bunch of questions that the mentors could ask in case, they're starting out, so it's not always as smooth as you'd hope for it to be, but that's what relationships are. It takes time to build them. So, and basically the mentors and the mentorees make time for each other to meet twice a month minimum, where one time, this is the way that we suggest, is that one time they meet and they talk about things that are spiritual. So they ask, how's your Bible reading going? How's your prayer life going? Is there any addictions that you suffer with? How's your family life? Are you in peace with your parents? Is there something that you're miscommunicating with your siblings? Things like that. Things that you wouldn't regularly ask a random person. Things that we hold each other accountable for. So those are the questions that they ask at one meeting, and they could do it back and forth, or just the mentor asks the mentoree, and this way they feel that the next time I meet with my mentor, I have to be accountable for these things, and that makes them be more accountable in life. And then the second time is a more practical, more fun meeting where they grow their relationship as a whole. They either could go somewhere, do something. A lot of our people do like restaurants, going out for coffee together, bowling, things like that, crafts, art, things that the teenagers like. So that's the other aspect of it. So this way, there's a good balance. It's not just a teacher relationship where the mentor just teaches, but it's also not just so fun all the time that it's so much fun that nothing's being done. I really strongly encourage the mentors to ask those hard questions, because they matter. Sometimes I know by myself, being walking with the Lord, sometimes you struggle with something and you want to tell someone about it, but because you kind of can't find the opportunity to say, hey, can you hear me out? I'm struggling with something. And so in situations with teenagers, I bet that happens all the time too, where a teenager is struggling with something and they don't want to cover it up. They do want to share it, but they don't have that opportunity. So that's why we encourage the mentors to ask that question. Are you struggling with this or this or this? Is there something I can help you with? Is there something I can help you grow in? Even like a lot of the mentorees, they want to participate in church and they're shy, they're shy. And so the mentors help them out, like, hey, let's sing a song together, or let's, I'm going to help you learn how to play that piano or whatever instrument. So I think in that way it's really good. There are a few situations where, obviously, because we're just growing there's a few incidents that we've had that were an opportunity for us to grow. So that those come, obviously, but one of those things is just a busyness. The people that we've asked to be mentors, they are not people that don't have anything to do with their lives. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that people that are just sitting around, they're bored, this is something that we should keep them busy with, mentorship. I don't think so. That's not my belief. I think that the people that are busy doing things of the Lord, that are involved in church, they're involved in ministry, they're seeking how they could help the community, help the people around them, help the church they're in. That's the kind of people that we need as mentors. And so obviously that means that they're busy with other things. We have worship leaders, we have youth leaders, we have people that are doing different kind of ministries in the church already. And so it becomes hard to find the time to meet with their mentorees because they're busy with other things in the church, which is a problem, but it's not. I feel it's a problem that we need to be intentional about working with. So if I'm a youth leader, and we do have a youth leader with us that is a great mentor, but he balances it out, he finds the time for both. So that is one of my strong beliefs, that the only way this will work is if we have people that are already doing things and that the teenagers can learn from them about. And so going forward, we meet with the mentors every once in a while. We have different kinds of feedback forms they have to fill out about their growth as a relationship. And then we also have all types of forms for the mentorees that they have to fill out. And I'm just a facilitator. We do have a director of Sunday school. I'm just a facilitator, so I just oversee this program. I don't mentor either in the program. I just oversee so that if there's any situation that arises, the mentor and the mentoree both feel that they could equally come to me without me having any bias towards them. And additionally to that, another thing that we stress is not to share confidentiality, not to share anything that goes on between the two of you or that's talked about between the two of you outside. So if there's something that's happening, you discuss it together. If there's a situation, if there's an incident that's something sinful or something more on a higher level, that's when they can approach me and we go forward, whether we talk to the parents, the pastors, whatever way to do that. But obviously, thanks to Jesus, we didn't have those incidents yet. So I think that's about it. I think that should cover everything. We've seen great results. We've seen things that we could definitely work on, but we've seen great results. We've seen people, teenagers that were very, very, very shy. Once they entered youth and they had somebody that they already knew so close, it was a lot easier for them and they got involved much faster. We've seen people that were teenagers that were struggling with, and of course, some of them are on my Instagram, so I can't really share too much information, but some that were struggling with different things, it was good for them to have somebody that they can reach out to about it and not feel like they will be looked down upon or, thrown out of church, or their parents will be scolded, or whatever way they put that. But I think that this is wonderful to have. I think that transparency is amazing. I think that God calls us all to unity, and He calls us all to be accountable before one another, so that when we give account to Him, we will be pure in our account. We will be pure in our walk with Him. So I love the mentor that I have in my life. She is someone that helps me so much in my walk with the Lord and in my ministry, and I'm able to share my weaknesses, and I'm able to share where I need encouragement and prayer. And that is why we do this. This is not for someone to get someone's secrets out or anything like that. This is strictly to invest into the lives of those that will be our youth, that will be our church, is our church already, but that will be future leaders. And so I think that we need to invest time into them. I think we need to put our hearts and soul into giving them the resources they need to stick to Christ and not stray away somewhere else. That there's a lot of paths right now. So that is it. If anyone has any questions, I can answer them quickly, and I'm going to just go through these real quick. I'm really happy actually to hear that there's so many people that are interested in doing this, and that there's so many people involved in their churches with teenagers, because before, I remember when I just started working with teens a few years ago, there was no, teenagers were that group of people that were not kids anymore, not in Sunday school, but they weren't in youth yet, and they just sat around doing nothing. So I'm really, really, really happy that people are serving this generation of teenagers, and that our churches are growing and moving forward, and I'm sure Jesus is really pleased with that. So that's that. I think I have just one question here. Can you save the live? Yes, I will. That is one of the reasons I am doing it, so that I could save it and share it in the future, so I don't have to do this. Thank you for not making me more nervous than I already am, but it wasn't so bad. Okay, Vika, how long is the program, or when is the end date? Oh, yes, that's a really good question. Thank you. See, I'm a little all over the place, but so basically they're in the program from the time they enter the teens Bible classes to the time they enter youth. So from 12 to 15 years old. Once they graduate, we get them together and we do a little not a ceremony, but a little awards. For the mentors, I did certificate of appreciations, and they received these. And then the mentorees got graduation, completion of the program, little awards, and that's it. And after that, we tell them that they go their own ways, that we no longer are accountable for them as a pair or as a group. If they have come to a place in their relationship as a mentor and a mentoree where they feel comfortable and they want to go forward, then that's something that they decide on their own. If they don't want to, then the mentor no longer is obligated to be the mentor for that person, and the mentoree is no longer obligated to be under that mentor. The reason we do that is because this program is mandatory for our teens, the teens in our church. We don't ask them if they want to participate. As soon as they enter the teens Bible classes, immediately they become part of the program. So because it's mandatory, once they reach the youth, we don't want to make it mandatory anymore. They have the option to no longer be part of it at all. And as well as the mentor, when we choose the mentor, because it's a serious thing, we don't want them to feel like this is for life. If they don't feel that they could do that for life, they don't want to feel obligated to do that. So that's why we get them together and we make that discussion, we make that known that this is the end of the program, the graduation of the program, and so no longer are they obligated before one another or before us. I hope that answers your question. Hannah, what do you guys do when someone becomes a teenager and isn't in the program? Do you find new mentors? Yes. Right now we have 4 new boys that came in to the program and girls, and we are looking for mentors, for new mentors. So, but we also have 4 people that graduated, 2 girls and 2 boys that graduated. So we were asking the mentors that were mentoring before if they would like to take on a new mentoree, and if they do, wonderful, then they are our first priority because they have experience, they are first, and if they don't, then we search for new people. Yes. Honestly, I would really love if I didn't have to get the youth involved, because the youth is so busy, and if I could find older people in the church who would mentor. But because we have a language barrier with them, that's just, it's not possible. And because there are such difference in age and generation gap and things like that, I feel like that's not possible for right now. So for now, this is the way that we do it. But yes, we would have to find new mentors. So I think that's it. I don't see any more questions. So I will save this video. If anybody would like it, I can send it to them so you can scroll through. I also, any papers, any forms that you'd like, I could send those to you also. I don't promise to do that today because I do have a baby shower I have to run to in a few hours, but I can try to get back to you as soon as I can. Also, one more thing, Ina, is there a good motivation for girls' meetings? Usually girls are really busy with school and are harder to motivate in my experience. Any tips? Is there good motivation for girls' meetings? I'm not really sure what do you mean by that. Do you mean regular girls, like youth or older, or do you mean teenagers? If you mean usually girls are really busy with school and are harder to motivate in my experience. I don't know, Ina, if you can elaborate on that. Do you mean teenagers or do you mean older? There is, right now, I've been thinking about this a lot, and since I'm waiting, I'm going to just share this, but I've been thinking a lot that a lot of us are really busy, and I'm the first to always say that I'm busy, but this year I really want to be examining myself. Am I busy with the right things, and is my busy bringing fruits? You know what I mean? And if something is I'm just busy just to occupy time, then maybe I need to cut it out and give time for things that are more productive. For example, like this, like the mentorship program. I'd rather do mentor, put more time into mentoring and giving advice and investing into someone else's spiritual walk with the Lord, rather than sitting around and having brunch. So if those are the 2 things that come up, what am I going to choose, at times? So that's what I want to put out there. You mean teens, Okay, well, let me tell you, I am actually really taken back about how busy the teenagers are these days. We were not like that, and I hated when people told us our times we didn't do that, but they are really busy. So my thing is that you need to just come up with a plan, come up with a program, if that's the teen discipleship program, or if you're talking about Bible studies in general, whether you're going to do practical things, whether you're going to do a book or whatever, a 6-month plan, just titles of what you're going to talk about, a little pointers, done, and present that to get them together after church, announce for them to stay or whatever way you want to do that, and present them with that plan for 6 months and ask them to join and come just for 6 months. Because what I find is if you don't have a plan, if you say like, oh, we're just going to get together, a lot of people don't show up. But if you already show something that catches their attention, then most likely they will make it. And another thing is just you as a leader be consistent. I think that's one of the most important things. If you're going to be consistent and you're not going to cancel when things come up, you're not going to cancel if only 5 people are coming and not 12 or not 30, those 5 people still matter. So if you are consistent and you still get together even with other things coming up, then with time I feel like people will join more and will put their things aside to come. But at the end of the day, I don't think you should don't be hard on yourself if people don't show, because at the end of the day only one soul matters, and if you are touching one soul, then God is already pleased with you. So God bless you. God bless all of you. If there's anyone, and I see a lot of you that have messaged me that you're on here, I just want to encourage you and bless you for what you do. It's not easy work, especially with teenagers. It's not easy work. It's a lot of self-sacrifice. It's a lot of time when you can spend doing something for yourself. You invest into planning, into preparing, into researching. And a lot of times, you hear things behind your back that things are not the way that they would like it. But at the end of the day, we have one person to please, and that's Jesus. And if we're sensitive to his voice and we hear him calling us to do something, we just must go and do it, because you just don't know the big picture. We don't know the big picture, and maybe through this program 1 or 2 or 3 people will stay with Jesus and not go into the world, and isn't that worth it? It is. So whatever you do, just do it as unto the Lord, and I know that you will reap your blessing, because I'm reaping it every day for sure. So that's that. Again, I want to say it again, that this is nothing professional, nothing on a high level. This is just my heart on paper, and all of us coming together, putting something together, so that we could get this going in our church. And I hope you will do the same for yours. And again, I bless you in the name of Jesus. And if you have any other questions, you can also DM me, of course. I'm sorry that I don't get back as often as I should. Sometimes I get caught up with other things. So that's that, and God bless you guys.